Hey, perfect spirit. I'm Sam Shelley, and they call me the Miracle Man. Now, let's create transformation in your life right here, right now. No time to delay. We just let go of this and we dive into the heart. Or you could say, like a quantum shift from this reality into this reality, one of consciousness, one of perfect spirit, soul, whatever you wish to call it, universe, source. We don't want to get locked into the stories, the definitions, the labels. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. This is what I talk about, is rediscovering ourself. And once we rediscover who we truly are outside the mind, the thoughts, then all things become possible. All things are not possible if you're living up here with all these rules and restrictions. So what was coming to me today to talk about was there's no one outside of you. There's no one outside doing a checklist, making sure you're doing the right things. There's none of that. There's no one outside keeping a list, keeping these judgments, the criticisms. There's none of that. That's this world of duality, religion. But there's really nothing outside of us, for we are one with all that is. And it's the mind that likes that duality. But the only one that will ever judge us is ourself. And on this plane, the mind's always filled with this judgment and criticism, which is not helpful, not supportive. We need to let that go and realize that we're doing our best in this moment. And the mind likes to look back and think you could have done better. But at that moment in time, that's where your skills were. And as time moves forward, your skills improve. So we need to really let go of the judgment, the criticism. But when the body drops away, and it will drop away someday, and you're just in the spiritual realms, even then there's no one judging you, criticizing you. If anything, you'll have a life review to see what you could have done better, where you went off the path, if you will. But there's really no judgment, no criticism there, because you realize that you're just following all the mental programming and believing that you are the thoughts, the beliefs, the opinions, that story. But on the other side, if you will, just in the world of spirit, you can just look back and reflect on life and say, this is where I went awry. This is where the mind just led me astray. But there's no real harsh punishment. There's no judgment, if you will. If you just went astray, then maybe you'll repeat that life or a similar experience, or maybe having the opposite side. If you're in a position of power and you've wronged some. So you may have an opportunity to say, well, I want to live from their perspective. I want to see what they're facing. This is who I was, and I was doing my best at that time. But let me experience the next lifetime from this other perspective. And one of the examples that come up that's easy probably to resonate with, say you're a white person and you had slaves, and you just see all the injustice there. So maybe you come back as a person of color, a minority, so you can see that other perspective. Because spirit is always looking to have opposite perspectives, different points of views, because this all adds to the collective knowledge and wisdom that we're all perfect spirit living in these various forms, these various shapes, these various beings, that we're not just limited to be a human being. Why not somebody else from another galaxy, another system, like Pleiadian, Reptilian, from Orion, Sirius, from the Orsho system. There's all these different systems out there and all this intelligence. all this intelligent life forms, if you will, which basically is those that are self-aware, that they have the ability to reflect, to move forward, and not do the same things over and over again. But many different life forms, many different universes, but yet we're all connected. We're all the one perfect spirit. There's no separation. So no one's keeping a checklist. No one's judging you. If anything, you'll be judging yourself when you're reflecting back on this lifetime, this experience, and see where you wish to go. Another perspective, a different place, a different reality. There's really no rules, no limitations, that we're here to experience all of life in all perspectives. We are consciousness itself, the one consciousness. So that might be a lot to digest to realize that we are just the one consciousness in all these various forms. But there's no judgment, there's no criticism, and realize when you cause injury, harm, trauma to another, that's really you that you're impacting, because that spirit is also you, that perfect spirit in a different form, different shape, that we're all interrelated. So really it's about kindness, love, and just being the best expression of your true nature. Not to criticize, not to condemn, not to get all worked up. We get all worked up in this really frantic mental state because of the head trash. But when you know yourself as spirit, then you're not so affected by the emotions. Most people are riding these emotional waves, good day, bad day, good, bad day, based on this mental interpretation. But it's really about diving deep below the emotional waves into the depths of the ocean. So you're not so impacted by those waves. Actually, if you're deep enough, you're not impacted at all. And you may seem disconnected, detached from society. And yes, it's very easy to get there. People can see me as detached, disconnected, because I'm not wrapped up in the human drama. But it wasn't that way for me for, most of my life, that I was a bipolar, I was suicidal, I was MS. So it was lots of difficulties. But when I see somebody struggling with that, I know at their greatest core, they are perfect spirit. And if they can simply remember that they are the consciousness and have the strength of the universe behind them, then all things become possible. There's nothing called incurable. True, if you have like a birth defect, you might not be able to really do anything with that, but you chose to have that experience, which is another discussion, that there are no mistakes. When you're on the other side, you're not judging yourself, you're not criticizing, you're just reflecting, but you're also setting up opportunities to learn. Oh, I'm going to have this ailment, this disability. I want to learn from this experience. And unfortunately, a lot don't learn from that experience, because we can have all these plans, all these accomplishments, if you will, these milestones to accomplish on the other side, and we achieve none of them. It would have been really easy for me to get lost in that mind and not learn any lessons from here. I could have been stuck with, I was with 5 incurables or 6 incurables. I could have had 8, 9, 10 incurables and never discover who I truly was. Then in a life review, I could have said, I missed it. We'll go back and do this again. And I have a sense that I was a very sick man for a very long time. We're talking like hundreds of years that I didn't get it. So each life review was like, no, I still didn't get it. Still didn't get it, let's go back. Didn't get it, let's go back. So for like 300-400 years, whatever it may be, I was always in some kind of life situation and not discovering my true self, my true essence. but there's really no time and space. Oh, it didn't work out, come back. Didn't work out, come back. Or you didn't really learn much from that experience, go back and try it again to remember yourself. It's this game we're playing with yourself, remembering and forgetting. For most, they'll never remember who they are in this body. They just simply won't. They won't discover these videos, what I went through, what other people are going through, and all these spiritual teachers. They won't get it. They only are so identified with their mind, but that's okay. It's just part of their journey. But that's really okay. There's no judgment, there's no criticism. Let's do this again. Let's have this opposite side experience. We're here to be experience junkies. We're here to collect experiences and to learn from experiences, to see that there are no bad experiences, because all experiences are here for us to help us to grow, to add to the collective wisdom and knowledge. But it's okay. Well, I've run a little long today, really into this topic. I just thought about talking about that. And then there is a little bit difference between soul and spirit, but that's too much for today. And maybe we'll dive into what really is the soul tomorrow. All right. Well, take good care of yourself. Don't judge. Don't criticize yourself. That's simply a product of the mind. Spirit just reflects, learns, moves on. All right. Bye for now.